Welcome to the Explainer. Look, if you're in HR, payroll, or finance, you know that keeping the books perfectly balanced, it's absolutely non-negotiable. But what actually happens when a massive enterprise system, like Oracle Fusion, accidentally pushes out an overpayment? The cash leaves the company account, and the digital ink is already dry. Well, today, we're jumping right in to tackle the high-stakes administrative nightmare of correcting enterprise payroll errors after the money has already moved. Picture this scenario. An employee does the absolute right thing and hands back an overpayment. Great, right? But wait, the system's post-process has already locked everything in, so the money might physically be back in your hands, but your payroll system, it strongly believes that money is gone for good, and those records are sealed tight. It's an incredibly stressful situation, mostly because the system is actually functioning exactly as it was designed to. It's locking down to protect the data. So the cash is back in the bank. Seems resolved. Why is the HR department still in full panic mode? I mean, surely if the physical cash is returned, the problem is solved, right? Well, not quite. In the world of enterprise payroll systems, returning the physical cash is honestly only half the battle. The digital ledger is telling a completely different story, and let me tell you, that discrepancy is a ticking time bomb. Today, we're covering 6 key areas: the overpayment dilemma, why you cannot hit undo, the negative offset, the include or exclude decision, the 4-step solution, and balancing the general ledger. All right, part 1, the payroll overpayment dilemma. It's so tempting to just put that returned cash in the bank and pretend the system error never happened. But if we don't go in and fix the calculation, the employee faces extra taxes on money they don't even have. Think about that for a second. The system still thinks they earned that money, which means they're going to get taxed heavily on earnings they literally just refunded. Plus, your W-2s and those crucial year-end finance reports, they become an absolute disaster, leaving a massive mismatch for the finance department to untangle. Moving on to part 2, why you cannot hit undo. You know, we're so used to just hitting Control-Z when we make a mistake, right? But enterprise finance operates by a much, much stricter set of rules. Because the post-process has already run and the entry has posted to the general ledger, the system purposely locks you out of a rollback. No undo button here. Once an entry crosses that threshold and hits the GL, rolling it back would absolutely destroy your financial continuity. It essentially erases history, which is a massive compliance red flag. So the system stops you from taking the easy way out just to protect the absolute integrity of the organization's financial reporting. Which brings us to part 3, reversals, also known as the negative offsets. Since we literally cannot erase the past, our primary strategy here is the reversal. Think of a reversal as the perfect counterbalance. It doesn't touch the physical payment that was already made. Instead, it generates a mathematical negative run result and a costing result right within the system. This brilliantly zeroes out the error while leaving a clear, transparent record that an auditor can easily follow. You aren't hiding the mistake at all. You're officially and properly neutralizing it. Next up, part 4, include or exclude in pay. When you're setting up this reversal, you face a crucial choice on how to handle the next payroll run. This perfectly illustrates the difference. You can deduct it from a future check using include, or use exclude if they've already handed the physical money back. Say you overpay a temporary employee in April, and they say, hey, just take it out of my May check. You select include and pay, and the system handles the math automatically next cycle. Easy. But in our specific scenario, the employee already wrote you a physical check to return the money. If you hit include, the system is going to deduct it from them again next month. Obviously, we don't want that. Therefore, you absolutely must select exclude from pay. That takes us to part 5, the 4-step solution. Since our employee already refunded the money, we need a precise fix inside the platform. And here is your non-negotiable roadmap to resolution: reverse, void, cancel, and costing. Let's break down exactly how you execute these to take that bad entry from a glaring error to a beautifully balanced ledger. Okay, step 1. This creates the reverse entries, but ensures future payrolls aren't impacted. By navigating to the View Person Process results, you'll find the exact payroll calculation you need to reverse. You trigger it, and you explicitly select exclude in pay, again, so you don't double charge that honest employee. And the system beautifully generates those initial reverse entries. Now that the payroll calculation is reversed, you've got to address the prepayment record. That's step 2. You dive into the prepayment process results, find exact transaction, and tell the system to void it based on your required effective date. Instantly, you'll see the status flip to void, which honestly is an incredibly satisfying update to see pop up on your screen.
Moving right along, step 3 locks the process down by canceling the payment entirely. This step provides absolute finality. You're prompted again for an effective date, but importantly, you must enter a formal reason for the cancellation to secure your audit trail. Once submitted, the system permanently updates the status to canceled and cannot be reissued. It is locked down tight. No way around it.
Finally, step 4. We run the costing process. Right now, the payment is canceled in payroll, but remember, finance still looking at a mess. By running the costing of payment process, the system actively sweeps up these new voided and canceled entries, processes them, and sends the exact mathematical opposites over to the GL to fix the original error. And finally, part 6, balancing the general ledger. This is the moment where HR, payroll, and finance can all finally breathe a massive sigh of relief. That account that wrongly held a debit before this whole process began, it now shows a corresponding credit. When these new entries flow into the general ledger, the costing of the payment is completely cleared. Everything perfectly zeroes out. It's like a giant, very stressful puzzle finally snapping into place.
So, that leaves us with a perfectly balanced ledger and a beautifully clean audit trail. But you have to ask yourself, is your team truly ready to flawlessly execute this exact process when the next inevitable error hits the ledger? Because mistakes are a part of doing business, especially at this kind of enterprise scale. The true measure of a payroll department isn't just a lack of errors, it's the strict systematic precision with which they correct them. Mastering this 4-step reversal ensures your people are protected, your finance team is happy, and your compliance is totally bulletproof. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep those ledgers balanced, and I'll catch you next time.